Welcome, everybody, to Well, That's Horrific, a podcast about anything and everything horror. I am your co-host, Mr. S.
And I'm Tom Cruise.
And finally, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about Tim Burton's Wednesday, starring Jenna Ortega. If you don't know who she is, you've been living under a rock. I know Tommy's a fan of hers. But
she's been, a bit of a scream queen lately, right?
She's been in a lot of things. Scream. She's been in a lot of things.
First thing I saw her in was You. I don't know if you guys ever seen that TV show. But
You, X, Scream, Wednesday. Am I missing something?
The Babysitter sequel. I don't remember what it's called.
There you go. So she's been in a lot of things, and she is now on Netflix recently hot show Wednesday, released on November 23rd. Breaking records, when Stranger Things 4 was released earlier this year, they had a record of 335 million hours streamed for a week. It was a record for an English language show. Wednesday decides to break that record at 341.2 million hours streamed. Then after that, it breaks its own record from, when was it, November 28th, I think? Yeah, November 28th to December 4th. It breaks its own record at over 400 million hours viewed in a week. That's insane. Those are insane numbers.
And especially for a season or a series that it's premiering. So, like, the season 1, like, this is not season 4 like Stranger Things where everybody's already established the show. This is the first season of this show. I thought it was going to be popular, but I did not think it was going to be this popular.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. I was going to watch this, but I wasn't planning on watching it as fast, right?
Yep.
Then it's breaking records. Everybody's talking about it. You watched it. You're telling me to see it. I'm like, you know what? Fine. Like, I got to get into it. Might as well. And I'm happy. You know me. I'm always supporting Netflix because, I kind of felt bad for them for everything that's going on, the battles they've been having. But Wednesday has definitely been a hit. You've watched this before me. I finally caught up. I do have a lot of things to say. So we're going to get right into it. It's directed by Tim Burton, written by a couple of people that I know. And I'm just going to kind of give it to you first, see what you have to say, and I'm going to just piggyback from there.
Yeah, I'm just going to start with the plot synopsis here. It follows Wednesday Addams' years as a student when she attempts to master her emergency psychic ability, thwart and solve the mystery embroiled in her parents. And it stars, of course, Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams, Gwendolyn Christie, who we know from Game of Thrones, as the principal. Enid is played by Emma Myers. The therapist is played by Ricky Lindholm, and shout out to Christina Ricci, the original Wednesday Addams. She's also in this. She plays Marilyn Thornhill.
Yep.
Exactly. And then we have a couple more characters. We can go. We can mention them as we go. Right. But immediately, as I started watching the show, the first thing that stood out to me was the wardrobe. Everybody's wardrobe. The way everybody was dressed, the way Wednesday was dressed. That was the first thing that stood out to me. Mm-hmm. I thought that was very, very done, very, very well. I would be surprised. I would not be surprised if they win an award for this later on. Definitely see a lot of potential there. I also liked what they did with the music, and they played around with the actual Addams Family theme early on. These are just some tidbits before I get to the nitty gritty of the actual show. Right. What do you think?
So the first episode, I was watching it with my wife. First of all, I just want to mention that a lot of people know the Addams Family. Even if you don't know or have seen the Addams Family, you know the characters, you know the story. I thought what they did very well was the whole first episode. I loved how they got into it in terms of Wednesday's character, her relationship with her family, how, her character itself, how she's so organized and so kind of like definitely an outcast, compared to other people, and she embraces that. She's very, she's very adamant about what she wants, and the scenery, like you mentioned, the wardrobe, the scenery. You have also the school itself, which I'm going to probably get into this a little bit later. I thought it was just a really good it was more than a setup episode. You know, usually the first episode you really don't know how it's gonna go, but you kind of also accept.
That intro.
Yeah, like you accept what it is, but like even if it's bad, you're like, you know what, it's the first episode, you kind of skip it, like, you know, you push on through. But this one was a really good episode. I think they did everything well. They introduced the characters really well, and it's like it was good because it didn't feel like a first episode. Like just the way they got into it right away, and like
I agree because
everything came together.
They did all the setup that they needed to do in like the first 10 minutes when she does the thing to the bullies and her little brother. She saves the little brother and then she throws the piranhas in the pool. I think that was pretty much all the setup that they needed. And correct me if I'm wrong. The runtime of these episodes is what, roughly like 40 minutes per episode?
Yeah, like 40. Yeah, the first episode I know is an hour.
Okay.
Other than that, everything else is like 45 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, given the amount of time that they had, I think they did a great job. To be honest,
right.
No complaints from me in terms of pacing or anything like that. I really like pretty much the entire Addams Family, but Thing, just to see Thing done in modern times is amazing. As an Addams Family fan,
this I think this is gonna be my next thing. Just going behind the scenes and just seeing all the work that had to be done for everybody, but especially Thing. I've seen some of it already, like all the preparation with the hand, the movements. It's so amazing how you have just a hand, but you're able to decipher what it's trying to tell you, what it's thinking, what its next move is. Like when it's sad, it's sad. Like the emotions, it's insane all through a hand. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
100%. So just what they're able to do with just in hand is amazing. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are we thinking? What do we think? What do we think about the story? What do we think about like Jenna Ortega, like, you know, and her role as Wednesday? Like obviously, guys, spoilers are always ahead here in our podcast. So thank you for listening wherever. If it's a podcast, the episode where you're streaming it, or YouTube, spoilers are always ahead. So we're gonna get into it, and I don't know. I have a lot to say. I have my notes here. I things that I really like, things I question.
Yeah. I mean, I think the first thing that I mentioned to you, and I think a lot of the critique that I saw early on was like, in terms of like, I guess people who didn't know the Addams Family. Just to give you an example, I know people who know, or I have a friend who their little brother is like, oh, I don't like it. It's too cheesy. And I'm like, you've never seen Addams Family. Like, you don't know what this is. Like you're completely unaware of what you're watching. And when you try to watch this with that sort of context or with that on your mind, then of course you're not going to like it. You kind of have to understand that you're watching the Addams Family, right? You know, there's a hand, there's monsters that exist in this world. It's that sort of thing. And I guess early on I saw that critique from a couple different people, and I was just surprised because I guess to me it was more surprising that people don't know who the Addams Family was. Like, people don't know that Christina Ricci was the original Wednesday. Like, how do you not know that?
I think that's a little bit crazy. Like the Addams Family, I've seen when I was younger. It is used, like you mentioned, cheesy. Here's the thing: you don't have to watch the movie, like Christina, what the Addams Family film that she was in to understand this. You just got to know the characters,
exactly.
And I'm sure people know. I've heard of the Addams Family, especially come freaking October 100%. Time. My thing with the critique is that it's a modern day version of the Addams Family. So even if you don't know it, it's not that hard to get into. And if you watch Harry Potter, which is something I compare the show to, I think I see a lot of similarities here. If you watch Harry Potter, then you're going to like this because a lot of the elements that are in Harry Potter are in here.
Yep, 100%. I definitely see that in terms of just like the school dynamic and everything, the teams and kind of and the secret society. There's a lot of different things here. In terms of Jenna Ortega, I think she did a wonderful job.
Oh, she embodied this role, man. Like,
yeah, it's crazy because apparently she got called to, or what was it? I guess she was on a call with Tim Burton while she was filming X, and she was covered in blood, and that's when he knew. It was like, yes, you're gonna be my Wednesday Addams.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I did not know that. I did not know that.
That's a weird fun fact, but she, does a great job of just playing that deadpan, no emotion sort of thing. Like the few times you actually see emotion is like towards the end when there's actual character development and she's made changes. And I think, yeah, I think the show definitely shines in the earlier half of the show, when it's a bit of more of a mystery and she's being more herself. But she definitely grows throughout the series, as we go towards the finale. Um, I thought she did a wonderful job.
Amazing.
I
I think she did amazing. I think that character also is not easy to
play
portray.
exactly.
Yeah, it's really not. And like you mentioned, like so emotionless and like not even just how like she speaks, but her face expressions, her
She has to be
posture.
deadpan, like
Yeah, the way she walks and like it's even like her dances and like when she's playing the violin, like all of these the cello. I'm sorry, everything that she's playing, everything that she's every single aspect of Wednesday that she displays is just like top notch. And this is not me trying to, you know me, I like Jenna Ortega, but like I told you, I don't know how I feel about her just yet like that, but she doesn't disappoint, man. She's what is she like 19 years old, and for her to have this experience under her belt and portray an iconic classic character like Wednesday is insane. I think
yeah.
job well done to her. Um,
I saw somebody online on Twitter actually. They tried to they made a parallel of her and early Sarah Michelle Gellar, and I was like, this is supposed to be like
interesting.
Wednesday was like, I guess Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the comparison,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Sarah Michelle Gellar was in Scream 2, and
I know what you did last
Jenna
summer.
yeah, and I know what you did last summer, and she was in Jenna Ortega's in Scream 5, and also in X. These are the sort of comparisons. And I mean, yeah, she's good. I mean, you have to compare her to Sarah Michelle Gellar, but still. Let's continue on with the actual plot. What did you think? I knew it was going to be a bit of a mystery.
I feel like a mystery here was the only way I think this show could have been successful. I'll be honest with you. I didn't see any other story that would have fit these group of people and its dynamic, you know,
Yep.
and like you have, I love the story of the outcast. I love like the normies versus the outcast. I love Nevermore. I love Wednesday being sent off and trying to figure out who's kind of like doing these murders and like setting her up. I think it's, you know me, I'm a sucker for mystery. I think they do it well. I really do. I like the story. I like the way they start off with the first episode, like mentioning like with the attack and the kill on Rowan and all that. There's some things. So here's where I do like the story, but the coming together of the story, I don't think I'm all crazy about. Like it's good, but it's not all crazy for me. And I don't know if you want me to get into it right away, but starting off with the first episode, you know, Rowan's death, I think that's pretty cool. I think like that's a big plot, you know, twist when they find out that Rowan's actually alive. But like you have these things where it's like, okay, she chases after him into the woods. No one notices it. There was a death there before that the, you know, sheriff said he was investigating and searching for. Rowan dies. Everybody searches for the body. They can't find it. Wednesday goes back to the scene and she finds his glasses.
Yeah.
Like I swear, like when she picked it up, I'm like, really? Like that is not just like something you can like disregard in terms of your suspense of disbelief. That's something that's like, yo, that's a pivotal point in this story. Like they're searching for a body, they can't find anything, but she finds her glasses right away. Like stuff like that kind of like irritated me because I'm like, yo, it's going so well, like don't ruin it. And like they kind of do these things sometimes where it's just like, you know, there's more along the way, but like that's like the pinpoint. Yeah.
To go, I guess, further along, there are some parts of this particular show where I was just like, some of Wednesday's choices were surprising me, as like how she would fall for certain things, like
boom boom.
Yeah,
I have that in my notes. So I don't want to cut you off. I really don't.
No, continue.
It's just you make such a great point because I was feeling the same way. Like you have this character who's introduced like as like she knows everything. She's so knowledgeable. She's so smart. Even like when the Nightshades try to capture her, like she's already untied herself. She knows who they are. Like she's like a step ahead of everybody. Yep. And then you have like a normie at this point who's kind of like running the show behind the scenes with this whole mystery and monster thing, and like she's falling for every single lead that she encounters, and I'm like, dude, that's not her. Like I don't know if you're trying to show that like she can be like a little broken, like, or she, like you're trying to like show that she has emotion too, like she really wants to figure out who this is. I get that, but I was like so upset, like dude, like this is such a basic oh, you're pinpointing the wrong guy. Like, you're pointing at the wrong,
Yeah, that one really pissed me off when she kept on accusing
Xavier. Yeah.
Xavier. I was just like, how do you fall for that one? I was like, it seemed obvious that was a red herring, at least to me. Xavier Thorpe, played by Percy Hines White, who I would think is definitely the future love interest, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just the way he introduces himself. He knew her from the past. He goes to the school. We don't really see what his power is, that he can draw things and bring them to life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she accuses him like 3 or 4 times and eventually even gets him arrested to the point.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. Just a lot of things like that, to be honest, where I was just surprised that she would fall for certain things.
Yeah, Xavier, and then you have the therapist, and then like it's just, and then even Professor Weem at one point, like, she knows like she's a shapeshifter, and she feels like she's like out to get her. Like, it's just, I get it. Like, the show has to, provide, suspects for the viewer. I get that, but it's also, this is challenging because you gotta do it in a way that doesn't break down the traits of Wednesday. You know what I'm saying?
It's also interesting to me because it's like, how are they going to continue this moving forward now that the season has ended? Are they going to do another mystery, and how is it going to change for season 2?
Yeah, I think I saw something that they're already in talks for the season 2, like heavy, like they're like about to go for season 2 like right away, and who wouldn't,
sense.
Yeah,
definitely makes sense given the success of the first season. I guess I'm just interested in how they pull that off, given how this one was done, right?
But yeah, again, not to discredit Wednesday at all. I think, again, like, her character's great. She's very smart. I do question the casting for Mr. Adams. Gomez Adams. Do you know why? Because, like, who do they have for, what's this guy's name again? Louis Guzman. I feel like
where have we seen him?
I've seen him in a lot of things, and just, I don't think he's the right person for this role. I'll be honest with you. I feel like even that episode that was just about him and like the murder that happened, that he was accused. Which, by the way, the sheriff is like so convinced he's a murderer, and he's like,
and then he just drops it,
and they shake hands. They just shake hands and leave and call it a day. That's terrible.
I know. I thought the same exact thing. I was like, he just accused them for years. Since he left, he's been like, you're a murderer, you're a murderer, you're a murderer. Then all of a sudden, drop the charges. Like, we're friends now.
Yeah, like, I didn't appreciate that at all. Those are one of the things I'm saying. Like, it didn't feel like it connected to anything afterwards. But yeah, okay, that's like, I'm not trying to put anything down, but when you critique something, you have to, like, you got to challenge it, you got to question it, right? I wanted to get to her visions. How do you feel about her having visions?
That's completely new as far as I'm aware of. I don't remember her ever having visions in any sort of other iteration of Wednesday Addams.
Yeah.
I guess I thought it was alright the way they executed it, where she like threw her head back and like all of a sudden every time she touched something, it seemed okay. I didn't know how I feel about the whole ancestor thing. I don't remember what her name was.
Goody.
Goody, yes. So we have Wednesday and Goody.
Yeah. Played by Jenna Ortega.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
And that's later on. So we have 8 episodes, and the first vision happens in episode 1, right at the end when she bumps into him. She bumps into Rowan, correct?
Right.
She has the vision of, I guess he's up to something. He's up to something with the book.
And then she
basically sees him die, no?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she confronts him, and that's when he dies. She has a couple more visions moving forward. The final vision is the final vision, which to me is a bit of an ex machina, where like she didn't discover it; she literally took her vision for her to know it. But
right,
yeah.
So the thing with the visions, it is new. It is something new. I didn't mind it at first. The first episode where like she figures out who kind of bullied her brother. I didn't mind it when she found out.
Oh, that was the first vision.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out what they were at first, and I was kind of like using that as a resource. And then There was the Rowan incident, but then there was like the incident with like Xavier fighting Rowan in their room, and then like it was like going from place to place to place, and then it went from having visions to like being all the way in the past and being a part of it, like actually seeing it firsthand physically.
Yeah, because
so like I was just
it was like the vision of Goody.
Yeah, like I didn't mind it. I thought it was an interesting, element to add or trait to add to Wednesday. I just was confused as to, okay, where can these visions take her? And obviously, like, she can't just have visions at will, because even in that scene where she's like in like that shed or something, like thing is like telling her to like touch everything. She's like, yeah, see, I can have it, and then she all of a sudden has it. I liked it. I mean, I liked it. I was just trying to figure it out at all. I do think that in the dance scene, they should have done it differently. And here's why I say this.
Wait, what do you mean the dancing? Sorry, she has a vision in the dancing.
And on the episode at the dance, like when she's at the dance, she has a vision that she finds out that Eugene is in trouble.
Oh yes.
So here's where I think they made a mistake. Again, spoilers. Like if you've gotten this far, she sees that Eugene's in trouble. She sees that the monster's trying to attack him. But somebody bumps into her. Two people, I think they try to hide it, but like two people bump into her and then she has a vision. Now, we're like 4 episodes in at this point. We understand that she has to physically touch something to have visions, right? So that means we know that the monster is somebody that bumped into her. You know what I'm saying? So here's where I think they kind of messed up. I don't know if you're catching what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. In my head, at that point, I was like, okay, it's either Xavier or Tyler. In my head. Because they kind of like, you don't see it because it's like an overshot view of some, like them bumping into her. So you don't know who it is. But I'm just like, okay. So
here's the thing about that, right? One of the biggest critique I would have, and I feel like we keep on doing cons. I want to say overall, I do like the show.
No, absolutely no. I'm not trying to say anything bad about the show. I'm just saying.
I don't want to heavily critique the show, but my biggest critique for this particular show is that I thought the mystery was very obvious. I guessed who the monster was early on. I was one of those people who was like, no, there's no way it's him. It has to be a red herring or something. Like it has to be like they're fooling me. And then ended up being him, and I was just like, wow, okay. Like I thought there was gonna be more to it, and the other character, we could go ahead and say this part. It is Tyler and Marilyn, aka Christina Ricci, and
it's Thornhill.
Yes, Miss Thornhill, and I thought it was pretty obvious early on, because she was sus, and even he, after a certain point, was really sus to me, and I don't know. I was more upset because I was overthinking it. I was overthinking it and in having faith in the show, was thinking like, no, there's no way it's gonna be that obvious that it's gonna be Tyler. I was like, I refuse to. And then when it ended up being Tyler, I was just like, wow, okay, like it is what it is. I was more upset that I guessed it so early. Like it wasn't surprising to me.
Interesting. I wonder if people have that same, mindset, same perception. If you thought it was Tyler or Miss Thornhill, please let us know, and how early you confirmed it. For me, I think episode 4 is where I was like a little bit more, okay, it's either Tyler or Xavier because of the whole white thing, the white suits and whatnot, that somebody bumps into her. Miss Thornhill, I texted you.
I want to say I didn't even make that connection that you mentioned with the vision and her bumping into them.
Oh.
I didn't make that connection. They just gave me the vibe. Like I felt like.
Yeah. No, absolutely. For Miss Thornhill though, I texted you. I was like, yeah, I don't know about her, man. But you never responded to anything. I'm like, all right, maybe he's just like busy or something. But she was definitely on my radar. She was definitely on my radar, and her story makes sense. I think it's so cool though that she ends up being the person in charge. Kind of paying homage to the old Addams family somehow, some way. I think it's cool. They do that a lot here, like you said, the music, the snap to get into the what you call it.
I love that.
I love that too.
It was like a little riddle, and then it was the answer was snap twice.
Snap twice, yeah.
Which of course, if we know from the Addams Family theme,
was dope. That was dope.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I like the mystery. I like the story. I like the mystery.
I want to say, since we were talking about that episode, I think it's episode 4, the episode of the dance.
Yes, it is.
I do love her actual dance sequence.
I think
Jenna Ortega did a great job.
She does a great job of just being dancing like an outcast.
Yeah, it's such an awkward dance.
Awkward, but you're into it. I know a lot of people love that scene too. They kind of posted like on TikTok a lot. It's great. You know, she's like, I can't even do it the way she does it, but it's gold. It's gold. She does a good job. Where are we going here? I have some notes here. What do you think about the whole story of, like, obviously we have the mystery, but what do you think about the story about Jericho and the what you call it? What's that guy's name? The Jericho founder.
That's revealed in episode 3.
Yeah.
That's the whole story of Goody, and Jericho. When they go to this what do you call it? Pilgrim world.
Yes.
And they have to like blend in or whatever, and then there's a mystery going on there as well. Honestly, I wasn't very interested in that story, to be honest.
So you don't like the whole motive behind
he just wanted to get all the outcasts, right? And she was just she was using him. She was related to her, I guess her tie-in is she's related to the guy who her father well, again, they blamed her father, but it was really her mother killed, right?
Yeah.
That's how there's a bit of a circle there. Everything is connected.
Yeah. I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was a bad thing. I just felt like, again, they were like just doing a lot. They were just doing a lot. Like the whole Jericho founder wanted Goody banished, and like he tied everybody up into like the shed and like. And then burned everyone alive. Like, I get it, the whole outcast thing.
Yeah.
And then you have the weird, story about the monster kills victims, but then has parts of their body surgically removed. And, like, you're trying to figure out why. Like, they do a good job of keeping you in suspense. But at the same time, it's like, damn, like, where is it going? Like, I don't know. I really can't figure it out. They tie it well. I do think, like you said, full circle. I think they tie it well.
I think a lot of it was good. I just honestly I didn't care about the whole Jericho thing, like the whole Jericho prophecy.
Interesting.
From the first episode, I was more intrigued with the monster and Mrs. Thornhill than I was with Jericho. What Jericho comes back, all of that for Jericho to come back, for him to get killed, for them to fight Thornhill regardless.
Yeah.
How did you feel about Fester coming back? He came back in episode 7.
I liked it. I thought he was good. I thought it was interesting. Voice. Yeah, I thought it was interesting to see him come back and like see Wednesday actually like somebody and like kind of trust somebody, show her, like give her some emotion. I think that's actually the episode where she starts having like her emotions on display,
Yes.
And obviously him hiding and whatnot. So like him trying to be like him robbing a bank and stuff like that.
I love him and Thing and their interactions.
Oh yeah,
and just a funny voice, and I don't know.
Nah, it worked well. It worked well. They're smart. Like I think there's a lot of things this show does very well. Introducing characters. Every character that was introduced, I thought it was dominant. Every single character. There's not one character I feel like was like, yo, okay, why is this person here? Everybody was suspicious. Everybody was great at introduction. Everybody was like significant to Wednesday. It was all pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's where I agree with you. And like early on, that really stood out to me, especially the earlier episodes, like when she was fencing with Bianca.
Yeah,
I thought that was really nice. That was super intense. I was very happy that she was the one that ended up getting caught. I was like, finally a win or an L for her. Yeah. Because she was dominating everything at that point. And then they left a lot of open doors too with a lot of these characters. I mean, obviously, there's the whole thing where she just got a phone and she just got a message. But besides that, there's Bianca and her family, and her mother. There's a bit of a mystery going on there. Yeah, I mean, they left a lot of open doors. The biggest surprise for me was I was surprised they killed the principal. Only because I thought
I like that though. I
thought she
like
would come
that.
back.
No, I'm hoping she doesn't, because I think that takes away from.
But she's not a big actress, but we know her from Game of Thrones. So
I know her from Game of Thrones.
I thought she was going to stick around.
No, but that's the thing. You know me. I like stuff that you can't predict, and I did not predict that she would die. I thought that scene was great, where she's kind of confronting Miss Thornhill with the principal.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Shape shifting into Tyler. I thought that was great, and she was like, "I never went to the train station." And she's like, "That good enough for you?" You know, whatever it is. And then like, I thought it was whack the way she died though. Like she just got like,
exactly.
Like 100%. I thought it would have been a little bit more, special or like meaningful. She was definitely like a suspect on my book, especially. But the thing is, like, when you try too hard, I think it was the second episode where like Thing is following the guy into the bathroom. Not Rowan into the bathroom. He shapeshifts to a guy, and then walking downstairs, she shapeshifts back to the principal. I'm like, okay, she's a suspect, obviously, but why would they show that? Yeah. Ripping out Morticia's page from the yearbook, and like always on Wednesday Adams' ass. I'm like, you know what? Obviously, there's something going on there, but no, I'm okay with her dying. I did not expect it either. I'll be honest with you, I did not expect it either, but it worked. I think it worked, and yeah, I think that's a thing that I appreciate about this show is like they did a lot. I don't know how to explain it. They did a lot. They didn't hold back. They did a lot. The mayor dying too. Like that was one thing. I was like, oh shit. Like I didn't know that when she snuck.
I felt bad for him, bro.
But he had to go. Like his character at least was. I wasn't feeling it.
His son. I felt bad for his son. Remember he got in trouble and then
yeah. That was tough.
His dad was in the hospital first, no? Then he ends up getting killed. What do you think about? I always butcher her name. Enid.
I think.
I thought their dynamic was fun, given how she's the polar opposite of
exactly. And the way they did it I'm telling you, this first episode was great. The way they did it in the first episode, when the room that shot of them by like the window there, like with the line in between them, and her side is dark, her side is so colorful, and like Enid's trying to hug her, and she's like, I don't do hugs, and like. Even though they were polar opposites, like they kind of needed each other, and like they complemented each other well. She was a little perky until I met her like family, like her mom at least, and then I think they do a great job of like hyping up that she's a wolf but can't really howl yet and all that. And I just think that scene where like she like attacks the monster, I thought that was pretty badass because the way that wolf looked was insane.
Yeah, I was actually scared. I was like, no, she can't die. I was hoping that.
Yeah, she looked like she was about to die, bro.
Yeah.
But see, that's another thing too. Like the sheriff, like. Here you have a son that's dying to talk to you, especially about his mom. So obviously, they're trying to create a story where the mom obviously was a Hyde. Now the son is, and the sheriff is looking for a monster who is a Hyde. But if he just spoke to his son all along, maybe the son would have like confided in him, right?
But he basically dubbed his son. He never
every chance he had.
Yeah.
Every chance he had.
Every time, every scene that we saw them together, he was telling his son some shit.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to like always everything, and never wanted to talk about therapy or nothing.
Yeah. So I thought that was cool. That was a cool touch. Like if he just had listened to his son, like he would have known that he was the monster he was searching for the whole time. But it's just like. The sheriff was good. Like I think the actor was good. It just bothered me, like the decisions he was making. Obviously, letting his emotions, like his feelings about Nevermore, get in the way. It was interesting. It was interesting. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned Harry Potter, right? I mentioned like a lot of similarities I see. I thought, the clothes, the shots of the school, them feeling like outcasts. I thought it worked really well. There's like a dark, mysterious figure that's like terrorizing people of Nevermore. I thought it was great touch. Kind of like reminded me of Harry Potter. Not to say that they're copying, which is not a bad thing either. Like if you can recycle, not stories, but like shots and like, elements, like why not do it? Like if it works, do it. Harry Potter's successful. But this also reminds me of a book I just read. It's called The House on the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. It's about a group of kids who are outcasts, and they live on the other end of the island because nobody wants them on the other side. And it's cool. It's cool to see it like come into play.
You could definitely see the parallel there for sure.
Yeah, man, it's pretty good. Like one of them is like one of the kids is the devil's son, and it's just like everyone doesn't want to be around him, and just it's cool. It's cool.
All right, I'll definitely add that up to my book list for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely sounds interesting. But I guess while we're on the topic of Wednesday, do we have anything else? Or I guess overall verdict? Did you like it? What would you rate it as a TV show?
I gotta say, like, I was definitely into it more than I thought that I would be. There's certain shows that I watch pretty fast, some that I don't. Like, not that I don't watch them fast, but like there's a lot of things to catch up on, so I kind of like try to spread it out. I do think this show was interesting. I do think Jenna Ortega embodied this role, like, and like to a point where I'm just like, damn, like I don't think I could see any other character playing. Yeah. Any other actress playing this character, because she was like that good at her role. I thought the story was good. I do think that there were some things that just, not that it didn't make sense, but they were just throwing a lot at you, and like I'm not really quite sure if it all connected as smoothly as it should have.
Yeah. I agree. I understand for sure.
I don't think. I mean, I can't compare the two, but I don't think that this is better than Stranger Things. I don't think that
it's two completely different shows, but I guess I would have to agree with
no, I'm just only because of the record. I'm just mentioning it because of the record that they broke with the streaming of hours. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's better than Stranger Things. I also don't think that this show would have gotten the praise it does if it wasn't based off the Addams characters. I don't think that it would be as great if Jenna Ortega wasn't playing Wednesday, and I think those are two key factors of the numbers that 100%. They are getting. I don't mind it. That's not a bad thing at all, because it works. They do a great job of showing Wednesday's arc. I'm just trying to mention everything before I give a verdict, because I don't want to miss out on anything. I have my notes here. It's just, I think the mystery was great. That you probably were right. Maybe it would have been better if it wasn't as easy to guess. But I give it a solid, honestly, a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. I would watch the season 2. Wow. I think it's good.
I'm actually surprised on your rating. I was leaning more towards 7.5, 8.
I think you can tell they invested a lot in it. You can tell that even. My cons, I told you. I also I don't like the casting of Mr. Gomez Adams. I don't like the casting of the Mirror, and even Eugene a little bit. I was like, whatever. But it was good. It was good. I thought it was good.
Okay. With that being said, like I mentioned, I really enjoyed it. My biggest question is what they're going to do with the next season. I'm more interested to see how they follow this up, given that, this mystery has been solved. What do they do moving forward, right? You mentioned yourself that, you feel like this is going to have to be like a mystery thing. Well, and I guess I want to see what they do with that.
Well, we can anticipate what's going to happen, right? With the whole who was texting Wednesday at the end, and obviously Tyler still being alive.
Yeah, but that who texting is so minuscule. That's such a minor thing.
But they had to throw something in there to show you, we might do a season 2.
Yeah, I guess.
But yeah, good show, interesting. I don't think season 2 can be better than this one. But yeah.
Okay.
That's all I got for Wednesday.
Yes. Now, what do you have for us next?
All right. I wanted to mention something about Scream. As you know, on a Twitter account, we kind of retweeted what the Scream mask looks like on the new film. I am not sure if that's just a shot in the movie or the whole mask throughout the whole movie, because we did see the trailer together and it looked like in the train it was the same old mask we've been seeing throughout, which I don't mind. I like that mask a lot. But this mask was a little bit more. What happened?
Yeah, it's the classic mask. You mean?
Yeah, the classic mask, exactly. And this new shot that we see a little bit more like a shades of like a gray and a little cracked look, kind of like I told you, it kind of reminds me of Michael Myers in Halloween 2018. But But you said something, and I want to hear what you have to say about the mask.
Yeah, I'm actually looking for a picture that I had seen of the mask here. I'll post it in just a second. But the first thing that came to mind was this. There was a very popular Reddit thread, and this is just like fan fiction, I would say. What people have always wanted, right? Which is, let's bring back good old Stu. The original, one of the original killers from the first movie, Matthew Lillard. Everybody loves him. Here you can see the mask above me. And this is supposedly a shot from in the movie. As much as I love Stu, and he's one of my favorite things about the original Scream, I just hope that they're not just, letting fans write their movies at this point, right?
I agree.
If it's just gonna be that sort of twist, as much as I think it would be cool, but I feel like it's already out there. The fact that it's already out there and people like are hoping that's the case, it wouldn't like it's. I guess the value is
it
gone
wouldn't
for
be.
me.
Yeah, exactly. I 1,000% agree. I've said this before too. I think when we were talking about Neve Campbell not returning to Scream, you can't make a movie just because you want to give the audience what they want. I feel like you're right. The value's not there anymore, so you can't appreciate the delivery or the element of surprise when it does happen.
And also, just something that you mentioned right now. How sucky would it be if it's actually Stu and Neve is not in this movie?
Yeah, exactly. What is the purpose? What is the purpose?
Like he would totally be going after Neve on this. Like,
yeah, I think if you were to do Stu, I do think that your opportunity was last movie. I believe it or not, returning to his house. Billy
and
being
then
like hallucinations and whatnot.
Somebody was related to him in the last movie, no?
Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. Who was related to him? Why my brain? The kid that died at the bar.
The second one. Yeah, the bar.
Yeah, that got stabbed. Yeah. So you mentioned this about Stu and whatnot. Yesterday, I read an article. I pulled it up here about Kevin Williamson confirming Stu's death. Now, I know what you're going to say. I know you're going to say, should we believe him? Because they've said this before and, people have come back before. But Williamson said, no, he's dead. And then he said, I think that people started thinking this because of the college scene in Scream 2, the frat party scene that he's standing in the background. He just came to visit set that night. I don't know if you guys remember this, but if you see Scream 2, you see him there like a little bit like a, just, not a cameo, I guess cameo you can say.
A cameo.
But yeah.
But he's not playing the same character.
He's not playing the same character. He's some just frat dude or whatever it is. It's like 2 seconds if you see it. But no, I mean, I love Stu's character. I love, the classic movie and his portrayal of a killer and like everything about him. I kind of want this to die because they've mentioned Scream 3 and how they wanted to bring him back in Scream 3 and it never worked out. And then Scream 5 happened. People were anticipating it. My message to the fans is let this go. Let Stu Macher be dead if he is dead. And if he's not presented to you in Scream 6 as the killer and you bash the movie, then you are not a fan of the franchise. Plain and simple. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I mean, I'm with you at this point. I mean, that's sort of, like I mentioned, it's fan fiction. It is what it is. He had a TV thrown in his face. Like, come on, man. Like, and it was one of those big CRTs. Like,
yeah.
He's definitely gone. I think people are just stretching it, and I get it though because he's one of my favorite characters. And listen, I appreciate his role so much in the first Scream. It's one of those reasons. It's one of the reasons that is one of my favorite movies. 100%. Like I love Matthew Lillard so much because of that particular moment.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think just talking about the mask now, I don't know how to feel about it because there's a poster also of the mask looking out of the train station. I don't know if I can kind of share it for you. I'm gonna try to share with you in a little bit. But I don't know, man. Like I mean, what do you think? Like, what do you think of the mask? Like, I don't know what to say. I got to see it in action. Like, I'm glad I didn't change it completely.
I guess I like it. I'm okay with it. I guess my question is, what's the meaning behind it, right? Because I just hope that it isn't for no reason.
Yeah.
Oh,
so this is
there you go.
Yeah, this is it. Definitely a New York like poster. Just
New York, new rules. I get it.
Yeah, you're right. What is the significance behind this? Does it mean that, like, Ghostface never dies, or he's on his way to die?
It's a cracked / damaged mask. Are they gonna show how it got that way, or is this? Or are they gonna establish this, like, kind of like Halloween 2018? Is this the original Ghostface mask?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. But yeah, so I guess we'll see how that works out. I'm interested to see that, but that's all I got for Scream.
Yeah.
We did a reaction video. If you guys haven't seen it,
yes, definitely watch the reaction video.
Posted it on YouTube. Definitely a lot of Easter eggs that people are recognizing after analyzing the trailer. I don't know. I'm you know me. I'm super excited. I love this franchise, and
only a few months away. So I'm definitely excited to watch.
That is insane.
Definitely
less than 3 months away.
Yep. And while we're on the subject of Matthew Lillard, I was telling you, he just got announced to be in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Yes.
Five Nights at Freddy's, yeah. Which to me, not that I wasn't gonna watch it, but the fact that he's gonna be in it just guarantees that I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. I love Matthew Lillard. I wish he was in more movies.
Yeah, no, he's great. He's great, and
so yeah, I'm definitely watching that. That's another Blumhouse movie. So
him and Josh Hutcherson, is that? That's the guy from Hunger Games. He's in it too.
He's in another movie called Tragedy Girls too.
Yeah, I'm me. I'm with Matthew Lillard too. So I'm interested to see what that project looks like.
Yeah, I mean that sort of project. If you've ever actually dove into the lore of the games, believe it or not, there's like deep lore into Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, you've played this. I haven't played this. I haven't really.
It's all
I know is that it's scary. That's all that I know.
It's a very simple game. Like, it's almost like a mobile game in terms of simplicity. However, the lore is like very, very extreme.
I mean, it must be so popular, man. It just being a mobile game. Like, I know people mention it, and the fact that Blumhouse is making a project out of this is insane.
Yeah. Oh. I mean, at this point, there's so many games too. There's like 6, 7 of them.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else to say at the moment.
All right, then I'll end it on this. The Deep, written by Stephen King, is getting an Amazon TV series. So another Stephen King TV show, horror TV show coming our way. There's been a couple of these. I know that Hulu has the exclusive one. What is it called? The Shawshank one. I forgot what it was called. But there's so many different movies and books that Stephen King has done. And I'm happy to see another one being made. So a lot of potential there. I want to see what they decide to do. The writer of Antlers is writing that movie. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll follow up on this as it gets closer to the dates.
Yeah, absolutely. That's interesting. Okay. I feel like that's the route like all these big titles are taking is this TV series. I wonder if that's going to be like a thing moving forward.
Maybe.
Who knows? But yeah, interesting. Good to know.
Alrighty then. With that being said, make sure you to follow us on all our social media platforms. Follow us on TikTok at That's Horrific. Follow us on Instagram at Well That's Horrific. TikTok is also Well That's Horrific. Cause if you don't,
well, that's horrific. Peace.